We may have to tweak that one for next year.
It's not a brand new, so to speak.
Okay, we got a test over there. Everybody hear me? All right, good. It's 5:30, so I'm going to, at this time, call us to order. Good evening to the Stephenville City Council Special Council meeting here on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. The purpose of tonight's meeting is twofold. We've got on the agenda first a public hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2016-17, and then we're going to consider a motion to establish the public hearing for the tax rate for 2016. Two official steps in the process of us adopting this year's budget. I would inform the citizens, if you're not aware, that the council has met with the staff and gone over the budget in a very extensive effort to prepare the culmination of many months worth of effort, and would like to thank the directors, Walter is the financial director, for your efforts, and Pat for bringing the original budget to the council, and council for your work and effort putting it together. So without any further ado, I will go ahead and go to the agenda item, which is the public hearing, and at this time open the public hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2016-2017, and see if there's anyone that would like to come forward from the citizens here tonight to provide comment. So the floor is open. Okay, seeing none, at this time I'll close the public hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2016-2017 and move to item 3 on the agenda, which is to consider time, date, and place of the public hearing on the tax rate. In the agenda package, we have that, council, just for your reference, on page 10. We've got a summary that will be provided that includes a first public hearing on September 6th at 5:30 p.m. here in the council chambers, and then the second public hearing on September 13th at 5:30 p.m. And I'll just ask Pat, if you've got any other additional comments on that?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Back to number 2, I have a question.
Okay.
Alexander Road's falling apart. And Nick, how much would it cost to repair that? And do we need to make a budget adjustment for repairing that thing?
Okay, so let's go back to item 2, and got a question on Alexander Road.
You're right. There's a section of that slab that is continuing to fall. We've reached out to several slab leveling companies to see if we can't get somebody in and out of there. The only quote we received is about $20,000. Our estimate provided by our city engineer is about $25,000 to cut out and replace that slab. Now, he was going to go out there again this morning to check and see how much of it had settled, to see if that estimate had changed or not.
Well, under the east lane, there's a hole, and you can see daylight or a hole back under that other lane. Would be a better time when it falls through, or?
Well, we don't know what's causing that to fail right now. We did actually investigate to see if there was a hole in the storm drain line. We did not find any, and so we were hoping that the rains through the summer would help that settle to a point where it would stop, and then we could go in there and repair it at that point. But I think you're right. I think we're at the point where we need to go and either raise it through slab leveling or cut it out and replace it. The most current estimate I have to replace it is about $25,000.
Okay, so I think back to Mr. Warren's question, if we're looking at $20,000 to $25,000 to fix the road, do we need to adjust this budget to accommodate that? Is that?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because why wasn't that rebar run all the way across?
Well, I don't know. I didn't have the street department when that was poured, but my understanding is that it should have been connecting both lanes of traffic. And when I went by there, I was under the impression that it was actually dialed into both sides.
But you think he can fix that thing for 25,000?
Well, that was the last estimate our city engineer gave me, but again, it may have settled further out, so it could be more expensive than that.
Mark Kaiser told me when, you know, I was not on the council, but live around the corner. And he said the plan was to blacktop that after that concrete was laid. Do you know anything about that?
I had not heard that until just this moment.
That's what he told me, and that would keep water from seeping in. I mean, concrete is gonna crack.
That would be.
I was just curious. I mean, I'm
no.
not trying to put you on the spot, I just
Well,
don't know that, no.
Mr. Warren, I would tell you that that'd be, I don't know that we need to do that. I would not recommend that from a professional standpoint. I think if anything, we just need to go repair the concrete in one of those two ways.
Okay, Mr. Savine.
I'd say that we don't need to make a budget adjustment at this point because we got funds for street construction and repairs first half of the year. If it goes over about $25,000 by February, we get a mid-year adjustment.
Yes, sir.
So I suggest we just leave the budget like it is. If you go outside for bids, you'll have to come back before council for approval for the bids and stuff, but if it's done in-house, you could just do it with your own funds.
That's
That'd be my
correct.
suggestion, but I do agree it needs to be fixed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Jerry, does that answer your?
Yeah, I mean, if we fix it for 25,000, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad that we're able to address that, and we won't make any adjustments to this year's, to the budget package as it is.
Well, and please don't hold me to 25,000.
Right,
Let's go and
understand.
assess it and find out the extent of the damage first.
Okay, if it comes back at 19, that'll be fine with us.
Very good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I have a question about something else. That
Oh,
has
all
somebody approached me this week and said, well, let me back up. We have to have a certain amount budgeted for the library for their accreditation to remain the same. Jeremy, somebody told me that I needed to look at that. Did we have enough budgeted for the library for them to meet accreditation standards?
For this coming year, we do. Last year, we ran into a similar situation. There's a formula that they use. Last year, we fell short budgeting the amount. I believe it was like $229,000. We budgeted $224,000. To be accredited, we have to go through the American Library Association. It helps us to be accredited. You're able to get grants. You're able to use the Bookshare program. There's a number of benefits. I don't have those with me right now, but those are a couple top of my head. So we fell short. We were able to go, I was able to appeal through the American Library Association, and we were able to still get accredited. So this year we will be. This year for the budget, we're falling short again. We hope to do that, be able to appeal, and we're able to use like some of the work our parks crew does for special events, setting up tables and chairs, so we can calculate that time.
So the budget amount is short, but you're going to appeal again?
We will, I mean, at this point, we don't have to, because we will be accredited this next year, but when it comes to the following year, it's always a lag year. We'll be able to appeal that. I don't feel that there'll be any problem, because we're really close, and we have some in-kind or some in-house work that we do. You can use hours from like payroll, human resources, parks, and so we didn't have any problem finding those hours and finding that money when we did it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from council? All right, then we'll move to item 3 then, and I'll entertain a motion to adopt the time, date, and place for the public hearing on the tax rate.
I move that we approve the rate, the dates as presented.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Savine, seconded by Mr. Nix to set, as provided in our packet, the time, date, and place of the public hearing on the tax rate for 2016, which will be September 6, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. and September 13, 2016, 5:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers. Any discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, unanimous approval of that. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Let me just make sure there's not any other questions or comments.
I do have a comment for
Okay.
Jeremy again, not to
Okay.
single Jeremy out every time, but I really want to thank you for taking the initiative to keep the pool open in September on the weekends. That's great for the community to do that.
Okay. Any other comments, council?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Over under summer expenditures, information technology, 136,000. What is that, Walter?
That's the IT department, Mr. Warren.
Pardon?
That's my IT department. That's Chris Dillard. Is that what you're asking, the total department amount is?
If I was asking what does that mean, information technology?
That's the IT department, that is the computers, our network, all the police department's network, that is the person that handles that department.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Does that, just to clarify, does that include some operations expenses?
Yes,
as
it
well as
does.
personnel costs?
Yes, it's
Okay.
personnel costs and then the operation expense for computer replacement and so forth.
So some
Maintenance.
of the refresh as well as hardware maintenance?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion second, we'll adjourn at 5:41. Thank you.
Rack up a new record.
You know where it is, on the north side is Dublin coming off of,
From Woods, Allen, Camp White, we got west.
Dublin.
It was difficult, but I knew
What were you doing there? So were you
When does he anticipate that? Sometime in October? Here, at some point?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
It did,